disappointed in where we are in the season right now. Glad to be home and have a chance to play the next game at home. Got a lot of areas to get better at and got to keep working. Got a lot of young guys, got to keep working, and it doesn't get any easier. Got the 6th-ranked defense coming in now, and seems like we've played top 15 every week in defense. So a team that was one play away from being undefeated, the 6-0 team kicked a 57-yard field goal on the last play to beat them. So it'll be a huge challenge, but we get another opportunity to play and see if we can't get better.
In terms of, I guess, the offensive side of things, how do you get – it seems like pressing is as much an issue as execution too.
It's some of it. We play good teams, and, I looked out there on the field Saturday. We got 5 true freshmen. That's not redshirt guys. That's 5 true freshmen playing. You got the B-back, both A-backs, 1 receiver, and the offensive tackle. Those, Will came in January, but the rest of them showed up in August. They're going to be some growing pains now.
Pitt lost Connor, but they're still putting up some good numbers on the ground this year.
And they're running for about 130 yards a game. They kind of pound you, and they got the marquee receiver. He's probably as good or better than anybody in our league. And the tight end, I think, is a good player, Orndorff. He plays pretty good. And they got some good backs. They got 2 backs that are good, big offensive line, so they can run the ball if they want. They've started trying to pound a little more.
Pitt is they've changed starting quarterbacks from last year. Is there much of a difference between the 2?
Yeah, I think this guy's more your prototypical quote unquote drop back quarterback. He's the Wojtek kid was a really good runner. Not that he wasn't a good thrower, because he could throw, but he was probably a little better runner than this guy. This guy's probably got a little more pocket poise and a little more drop back passer than the other guy. But I think they both still play.
Perception that Justin threw, it looked like Ike was actually pretty open, maybe. Or
wasn't supposed to go to Ike. What happened was Ike and Ricky June were clearing out, and we had a drag, and really, if you watch the tape, as Clinton came across the field, the linebacker hooks him and holds him around the waist, and he couldn't get free. Those 2 guys couldn't get out of the way. They didn't clear out fast enough. I think he was throwing it to Ike. It was a poor decision. If all that happens, you pull the thing down, run with it, and punt the ball and live to fight another down. The last thing you want to do is let them score on 3 plays and then come back and on your 3rd play throw an interception. It's not the way to start a game, especially not against the number 6-ranked team in the country on the road. Not a good recipe.
Well, as you look at starting this week of preparation, when a team's when you have a team that's in a kind of a funk it's in a funk like this, does your approach change at all, or do you kind of just focus strictly on the opponent? And
I think you have to be considerate. We've been focusing on ourselves for a while. You have to get ready for the opponent. But, I'll take it from an offensive standpoint. Since Notre Dame, every team we've played the same way. They all line up the same way. I don't know how you could be confused. We're killing ourselves with some calls and some line calls and some stuff that we probably shouldn't be doing, because we're trying to overcompensate for guys who can't do what we should be doing. But I think you've got my deal this week is we're going back to basics, and we're going to go back and work and keep learning. You got to do that with the young guys. You can't just throw them more and more stuff, because they're still trying to digest the other stuff. We just got to do it better at a higher level and be consistent. I thought we were going to turn the corner a little bit, because actually, we played pretty well offensively against North Carolina, especially in the first half. And so I'm thinking maybe we'll take some momentum and turn the corner. And I also think the team we play is pretty good. Defensively, they just kind of, we had a pretty good season a year ago, and they kind of worked on us up front a year ago too. So, we hit some big plays and we didn't make mistakes, and they weren't scoring 43 points a year ago, and getting the game out of reach. So it was like you could just kind of plug along. But, you know, we know what we do works. We've done it for a long time. We just got to do it better.
It's the old ACC trend of the week story. You know, the conference has got 7 defenses that are, you know, top, you know, in the upper echelon. It doesn't always translate to victories because Boston College is, you know, shutting
Right.
people down and they're not winning. So just kind of curious your thoughts as you look at the landscape of the conference's, you know, defenses.
Well, just the teams that I've seen so far, I think the defenses, there's some really good defenses. I said before I thought Duke was good way back early. When you watch them on tape, they play well together as a group. They've got the Cash kid who's a really good player, and the rest of the guys, you know, there's some good players, but not any marquee names or marquee guys like some schools have. But they do a good job playing their system. Clemson's got good players.
You know, something you kind of talked about with Justin is that he's had a tendency, he's going too much east-west and not turning up field and forcing action. And how do you get him to
Just continue
do
to
that?
coach it and continue to talk about it, and he's got to trust that they're going to seal the thing. And you know, in this offense, you're a featured ball carrier. It's not your job to dish it to everybody else. You know, so he's one of the better players on our team, one of the better athletes. So, you know, now can they take that guy out? Sure they can, but I'm not sure that anybody has. We kind of take him out ourselves with not sealing inside and not looking to turn it up, you know.
As far as going back to basics go, what does that entail? Like, how do you?
You go back and practice the plays that you run and practice the offense. I mean, that's, you know, when you line up and you're trying to run an option play and the kids can't tell the difference between a 50 defense and a 4-3 or a 6-1, you got issues. I mean, if you can't look and see if the guard's covered or uncovered, you got issues. So you go back and you just go back to basics and you keep repping it and hope that they do that, you know. If you try to load the read key and you load the pitch key, you got issues. You know, and we've got to do a better job coaching that up.
A preseason kind of mentality almost in terms of how you're.
Well, I don't know about preseason. I think that you've got to go back. You know, the worst thing you can do when things aren't going well is throw the baby out with the bathwater and just panic. I mean, you know, we're not bad on third downs because of the scheme. I mean, we led the nation and set an all-time record last year running the same plays. We've got to do them at a higher efficiency and play better. And it doesn't do any good to add more plays and add more stuff when you can't do the basics of what you're doing right. And I think what happens is when you play good defenses, and we've played good teams, and you have young people, and then you start trying to fix things to help. Well, this guy's not good at pulling, and this guy's not good at scooping, and this guy's not good at this. So we'll try to give you a call where you don't have to do that, where we can do this. And then what happens before you know it, you've got it all jacked up. And I look out there and I don't even recognize it. It don't even look like what we do, you know.
From what I can tell, it seems like Adam's playing at a pretty high level.
Adam Gotts has played his ass off. He played really hard and played good. He's one guy who really played well.
Level like that.
Well, the last game he didn't get to play. He was out in the second series. So, but in this game he played really well, and he was trying to be a leader as a senior. And you know, I was proud of the way he played and fought and kept playing. Yeah, played hard. And it's not so much. I don't know that we have an issue with kids playing hard. It would have been really easy to come out and lay down in the second half now. And you know, they came out and played as hard or harder than they did in the first half. So you just got to get it fixed. It's not like guys are going, oh, you know, I've had enough. You know, that's not happening if you watch the film. They're playing. We're making mistakes, and we are not good enough to overcome those mistakes. You know, if you've got a bunch of guys who are hell bent and run into the ball and can fly, then a guy misses a gap, well, somebody else will get the guy. Just like them, if they overran one, there's 3 more coming. You know, or on offense, when we miss that cut, you know, when the 2 slants out to a 3 and we don't cut inside, instead of gaining 40 or 50 yards, we lose 2. Well, we're not good enough to make 2nd and 12 right now. You know, or when we go to load the read key and we load the pitch key and lose 4 yards, it's 2nd and 14. We can't overcome that. So it's, you know, we're not making any plays to overcome it. And that's why I say there's a thin line, a small margin of error, and really there's a thin line between winning and losing. I mean, you could make a case, maybe not the last game, but you could make a case in almost every other game where if a play goes this way or that way, we could have won those games. You know, especially the Duke game in North Carolina for sure. And really even Notre Dame, we don't get the touchdown call back. That's 16-13 in the 3rd quarter, and you're in the game. But, you know, ifs and buts were candy and nuts. It don't happen. You got to make it happen.